Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. There will be no vote in the Senate on the health care bill before the 4th of July recess. GOP leadership made the announcement after failing to get enough party support to bring the bill to the full floor for full debate. Abigail Robertson brings us more now from Washington.
What do Senate Republicans do next? That's the question after it turned out that the highly anticipated vote on the Senate's version of repealing and replacing Obamacare won't happen by the promised July 4th deadline as the GOP struggles to find the support to pass it. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pointed out that major actions like this are difficult.
If none of you have ever covered a big, complicated bill, they're hard to pull together and hard to pass.
Republican lawmakers have campaigned for years on repealing Obamacare. But now that they have the opportunity, they're having to work hard to agree on what to replace it with. McConnell says the process is far from over.
We're continuing to talk about it. It's a very complicated subject. I remember how challenging it was for the Democrats when they were enacting this back in 2009 and 2010. It's a big, complicated subject. We've got a lot of discussions going on, and we're still optimistic we're going to get there.
Leader McConnell is running into the same issue the House faced last spring, crafting a health care plan that both conservative and moderates support. Senator Rand Paul is one of the GOP senators on the conservative side who opposed the bill as it stands now. He told CBN News he met with President Trump this week, who he says is open to negotiating the bill. But he hasn't heard from Senate leadership.
If we can make the bill more of a repeal bill, I think I could get to the point where I could support it. Right now, I think we keep too many of the Obamacare regulations, we keep too many of the Obamacare subsidies, and we have a brand new big federal bailout of insurance companies.
On the other side are moderates like Senator Susan Collins, who are concerned with Medicaid cuts and defunding Planned Parenthood.
It makes absolutely no sense to eliminate federal funding for Planned Parenthood.
Collins says she's optimistic she'll prevail on that issue, but Paul disagrees.
I don't think we should have any federal money going to pay for abortions. Now, they say they're not using it for abortion, but if they're using it to pay their electricity to perform abortions, I think it's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Planned Parenthood doesn't do anything that community health centers also do other than abortion. So the bill actually gives more money for community health centers.
And Paul says if senators want to include expanding Medicaid to cover more people for health insurance, they need to be honest with people about how they're going to pay for it.
Everybody wants something, they think it's for free, and they don't want to pay any taxes to get it. So that's what we have to decide. I think if you want Medicaid expansion, there has to be an honest accounting of how we pay for it.
While Republicans say Obamacare is in a death spiral, Democrats argue it's failing because the future of the program is unclear under the Trump administration.
The insurance companies look to the future. They say, what's the future going to be? And within that, they then structure their policies and set their price. They have absolutely no idea what will happen. They can't set prices. They don't know if there's going to be a requirement for certain benefits or not. And so they're pulling out of the market because they cannot price their product, they cannot write a contract, and they say, we can't be here without some certainty.
But Republicans say Obamacare was collapsing before President Trump was elected, and that they have no choice but to replace it before things get even worse. President Trump is meeting with Republican senators to help gain support of the legislation, and says they really want to get it right. Senate leadership hopes that after negotiating and amending the bill, they'll get the votes they need soon. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Abigail, thank you. America issued a stern warning to Syrian leadership who might be staging yet another chemical weapons attack. It comes after U.S. intelligence detected the possibility of active preparations at a Syrian airfield. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales has reaction from the Pentagon, where top military leaders confirm the U.S. is ready to take action if necessary.
This was a scene back in April after Syria's government attacked its own people with a chemical weapons strike, killing more than 70 men, women, and children with poisonous gas. The horrific action prompted President Trump to order a cruise missile strike a few days later against the airbase that jets flew out of before the chemical weapons attack.
It was a slow and brutal death for so many. Even beautiful babies were cruelly murdered in this very barbaric attack.
The White House is calling the April strike a one-off meant to discourage future chemical attacks by Syria. Now Washington is warning Assad and his military that if they repeat the action, they will face a hefty price. Tuesday, a Pentagon spokesman confirmed to CBN News the suspicious activity was spotted in the same Syrian Army airfield. Captain Jeff Davis says that activity involves specific aircraft in a specific hangar, both of which we know to be associated with chemical weapons use. And White House spokesman Sean Spicer said in a statement the U.S. had identified potential preparations for another chemical weapons attack by the Assad regime that would likely result in mass murder of civilians, including innocent children. He added that if Mr. Assad conducts another mass murder attack using chemical weapons, he and his military will pay a hefty price. And President Trump is apparently very serious about that warning.
If he doesn't believe that Assad's getting the message, he could expand the target set. It could include things like military headquarters, the presidential palace, or even Assad himself.
Syria's key ally, Russia, calls the threats from the White House unacceptable. Syria's government denies it is preparing for a chemical attack. However, Syria's president also said the April attack was a fabrication. Reporting from Washington, Eric Rosales, CBN News.
Arkansas leaders have allowed a new Ten Commandments monument on the state's Capitol lawn. Workers installed the privately funded statue Tuesday, 2 years after lawmakers approved a measure permitting it on state grounds. The new monument has sparked a push by the Satanic Temple for a competing statue. But lawmakers passed a bill this spring that adds extra hurdles to the path of that plan. The Ten Commandments statue is a replica of the display in Texas that was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court back in 2005. The High Court has struck down Ten Commandment displays in 2 Kentucky courthouses. Wildfires are sweeping across states like California, Utah, and Arizona. And in Mayer, Arizona, firefighters fight the flames from above. Residents in the area are being ordered to evacuate their homes. The Goodwin wildfire burned through 18,000 acres of land, closing roads and communities. Firefighters say the blaze is especially hard to fight because it is tearing through the bush so quickly. The fire is only 1% contained. Fire officials have not been able to assess the damage. David Friedman made one of his first major speeches at the new United States ambassador to Israel as the new ambassador to Israel in Jerusalem. As Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem, during an exclusive interview with CBN News, he discussed peace between Israelis and Palestinians and U.S. relations in that region.
Ambassador Friedman addressed an annual meeting of the Jewish humanitarian organization B'nai B'rith. After the address, he gave CBN News an exclusive interview and explained why current negotiations are held in private.
It really is just a mistake to characterize it to deprive all the parties of private conversations, candid conversations, which I think are necessary. So I'm just really not going to get into it. Not because I want to be coy. I just think it's not the right way to proceed.
Friedman said President Trump's recent Mideast trip made a difference in the region.
He's made enormous strides, I think. I think the trip to Saudi Arabia, the flight from Riyadh to Israel, the trip to the Vatican, it was an extraordinarily successful trip, and I think you'll see more success building upon that.
During his speech, Friedman went off script. Instead of discussing U.S.-Israel relations, Friedman addressed the pressing controversy between American Jewry, the State of Israel, and the status of the Western Wall. But he told CBN News U.S.-Israel relations are deep and wide.
The depth and the breadth of the relationship is well beyond what I think people ordinarily understand. And when you have the privilege to work in the embassy, and you see all the different divisions, how they're committed to trade, they're committed to cultural exchange, they're committed to various economic initiatives. It goes so far beyond the politics that we read about in the paper every day. The bond between our two countries is extraordinary. And I don't know that gets out as much as it should.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
A church in Washington, D.C. reaches out to Syrian refugees coming up. See how they're providing friendship, financial help, and hope. While politicians debate the Syrian refugee crisis, the church is stepping in with real solutions. Abigail Robertson shows us how one congregation in Washington is doing what it believes the Bible is calling them to do, loving their neighbors.
This may look like a regular prayer meeting, but those being prayed over might surprise you. A Muslim family recently resettled from Syria, who left their country when ISIS invaded their hometown and gunned down many of their neighbors. The family buried their 16-year-old son alive for hours during the raid to protect him from being forcibly recruited to the terrorist organization. Members from National Community Church have gathered to listen to the family's story and learn more about why they fled to the United States.
Have you ever met any Syrian refugees before?
No. I don't think so.
Media gives a lot of, these are bad people, watch out for them, all sorts of danger, and just know that it's not true.
Pastor Dave Schmidgall and his wife Kate met the family shortly after they arrived in the U.S. They spoke no English and were placed in the expensive city of Washington, D.C. The resettlement agency covered expenses for only 3 months. The father, Bashir, once an electrician, now feels helpless.
In Syria, he was very strong. He was a provider. He had a sure skill set in a profession. Here, he feels lost. He's working really hard to learn English, but the pressure to get financial security is pretty strong.
Kate and Dave realized two major things missing in Bashir's family's resettlement process: friendships and income. They opened up their home to host this event, which solved both those issues and gave the church an opportunity to put a face to the crisis.
What's missing is friendship, it's relationship, it's a meal.
Those attending not only met the family, they learned to make a Syrian dish called labne, a type of cheese. Each person also gave money toward the family's rent.
It was so simple, like we're just making cheese and they're just sharing their stories and we're just praying for them, and just to see like God's hands and feet in action here tonight was really cool.
But what you see happening here is easier said than done.
Across the nation, 73%, just the general population, it avoids or is uncomfortable with conversations with Muslims. It takes a little bit of risk to cut past the rhetoric and the opinions to get involved in areas that are controversial, but there are people behind these topics and these issues.
Lead pastor Mark Batterson found that out after his wife returned from a refugee missions trip.
Her heart started to break for what I believe breaks the heart of God. And when your wife has a heart for something as her husband, you get a heart for it.
Pastor Batterson believes if churches move past the politics, they could change the course of this crisis.
Sometimes we confuse political issues with biblical issues. My hope and prayer would be that the church would recognize this is one of the greatest crises of our generation, and how we respond to it might just define our future as the church.
NCC plans to host more Listen and Learn events with different refugee families in the future. As for Bashir, he started a handyman service with the help of Kate in hopes of one day becoming self-sufficient in America. Reporting from Washington, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
A police officer walks off the job to follow his passion. See how this worship leader is now transforming his community with a message of healing. A police officer walked off the job to pursue his passion, a career in music. But the real twist to this story is the officer's encounter with a stranger who told him everything he already knew. Sound biblical? Take a look. From Charlotte, North Carolina, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to Ferguson, Missouri, deadly police shootings shook these cities. Chaos, riots, and racial strife sometimes followed. Though miles away, these recurring incidents hit close to home for this former police officer. Terrence Howell joined the Franklin, Virginia Police Department years ago. hoping to make change in his community.
As a police officer, you're wired differently. Most people, when they hear gunshots, they're running away from where the shots are coming from. As a police officer, you're trained to go to where those shots are going.
Franklin's police chief still remembers Terrence for that little something extra he brought to the job.
We come into this business with the thought that we're going to change the world and do good things. In the 5 years that Terrence was with us, he did good things, and he changed at least the impressions of many people in this community in a favorable sense as to how police officers in this city are viewed and trusted.
Terrence's faith fueled his work ethic, but it also triggered a change.
So you're comfortable, you're serving the force, you doing what many would be considered an honorable career, and to be a man of color doing it too, also honorable. What's happened? Is there a wrestling inside you? What's going on?
Growing up, I always wanted to be a musician. Music was something that was just very important to me. Running through my family is basically a family of musicians and ministers, and I wanted to also be a musician. I can remember many times especially when I was working on night shift, I would have just thoughts and just visions. What if I pursued music? What if I gave it a shot? I wonder what could happen. And I will always have that in the back of my mind, but then reality will set in. This is what I'm doing now.
Terrence convinced himself law enforcement was the right career, until an unusual encounter completely changed the direction of his life.
I was actually thinking about music and actually thinking about a career in music when I was serving subpoenas. And one day I was just going door to door, hanging subpoenas on the door, and there was an older gentleman who was just watching me on his front porch, rocking back and forth, just watching me.
The man called out to Terrence.
He called to me, he said, "Young man." I turned, he didn't say officer, my badge or my gun. He said, "Young man, come here." So I came to where he was, pulled himself up on the railings, and he looked at me, square in my eye, and said, "When are you gonna put that badge and gun down and begin your real work, son?"
In shock, Terrence asked the man to repeat what he said.
"Your real work is in the kingdom of God. Your real work is in ministry. And it's only so far you can go wearing that badge and gun. It's time to put it down and begin your real work."
He has never seen that man again.
I knew it was of God, so I made that decision right then to take the leap of faith and to jump.
That leap has propelled Terrence into a successful music career. In 2014, he launched Revival Music Company. And it's more than just a label. Terrence says it's a movement to bring unity and healing across diverse communities.
My joy from today's session was bringing in people together, people of different backgrounds, different races, coming together, united in one goal, and that's to worship and to show love to one another.
It includes musician Joseph Stallings and Sharon Jackson.
I've been in a lot of groups and played a lot of music, sang a lot of songs. But what's different about revival worship is that it's not about the song. It's really not about the music when it comes down to it. It's about the relationship between people.
Each person is important. And then the other thing that I love is that we are so different. And I love that. I think that says a lot in our culture when we're from different churches, we're from different ethnic backgrounds, from different denominations, from different places, and we're able to come together and make this really cool music together.
It's a sound Terrence says always carries a special music. His new song, Untainted Love, is no different.
This love that he has for us is untainted. It's not tainted with the failed expectations of, I
I fell short of his glory today. I didn't quite measure up as a Christian today of where I should have been. But his love, it goes beyond that. It transcends all of that.
It's a powerful message. Terrence hopes will transform lives, heal communities, and bridge the divide.
And for more on Terrence and Revival Music, simply check them out by searching Revival Music Company on all social media platforms. Stay with us. We'll be right back. CBN has dedicated a new state-of-the-art studio in Mexico City. The ministry transformed an old roller skating rink. CBN International Vice President Ben Edwards said it will help CBN to share the gospel with millions of people in Latin America. And a new program called Viva Más is the first production in the studio. It is expected to be broadcast very soon.
God is allowing us to exercise our faith because we believe that this program is not only going to air, but it's going to have a great impact in this nation. And it's going to be just the beginning.
The studio will also be a production facility and host Superbook events as well as humanitarian outreaches. It is time now for your Wednesday word, and today's word is miracle. Consider this. Your very life is a miracle, and God wants to work even more miracles within it. He is simply asking you for two things, faith and expectation. Those two things will unlock the doors to miracles in your life on a daily basis. Your faith plus expectation equals miracles. With that word, make this a wonderful Wednesday. And that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for your company. Remember, you can always find more exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. And of course, we love to hear from you. We want to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you right back here come tomorrow.